here we are in the final session of our study. We have navigated the 4 seasons of the land: the fallow season, the planting season, the growing season, and the harvest season. We have walked through the land process, where we have learned and listened from the land, where we have assessed and acknowledged where we are, what season we are in, where we have put our needs above our wants, and where we have understood that diversity and the layers within our church are needed for growth and vitality. And hopefully you have determined whether your church is a dirt church or a soil church. A dirt church that's in need of life-giving layers, or a soil church that's in need of cultivating. Truth is, seasons come and go. We can't stay in one place forever. And likewise, we can't live in the past, nor can we grow into a future that's not here yet. Like the ground, we go through cycles. For example, many people think that they are stuck in a harvest cycle just because maybe they are seasoned and have more years under their belt. They're kind of waiting for the end. But see, that's not true. In our 20s, we're trying to figure out who we are and how we're trying to build relationships in our life, trying to navigate societal changes. And then fast forward to the 50s, we're trying to figure out who we are as empty nesters, some of us, and where we're heading in our life, in our jobs as things change. And again, still navigating societal changes. And then even beyond that, when we move from being caregivers to being cared for, we find ourselves in a different season in life. But again, we're trying to figure out who we are in this season and navigate the changes that are ahead of us. These are broad generalizations, granted, but they do illustrate how our lives go through cycles, how we are consistently figuring out who we are and who we are to God, and our relationship, which is one that goes through different stages. And it's the same process for our churches. Ecclesiastes 3 reminds us that there is a season for every purpose under heaven. Even 2 Timothy chapter 4 reminds us, as we are giving witness, that we are to preach the good news of Jesus Christ in and out of season. We need to be able to tell people why we have the hope we have. We are called to faithfully live and respond in whatever season we find ourselves in. For every season has its challenges and its celebrations. For none of those seasons are void of the spirit of life that we turn to in our Creator God. For we seek His guidance in every season. Just as any field requires a plan, a plot plan, if you will, what's going to be planted, where it's going to be planted, when we will yield this, so churches need to plan according to God's plan for them in that season. And we have had a part in that. In the final week, you will look at all the information that you have gathered by reading the book, by having a conversation on the discussion board, by having conversations within your small groups. And prayerfully, you will construct a plot plan, if you will, an outline plan that you will be able to share with your church leadership. It's a draft. It's not a finished document of any kind, but it kind of brings the ideas together and helps you inform them of where they are and what the next faithful steps might be. A plot plan so your church can begin the conversation of what's next in your corner of God's farm where you are planted. As you go forward, I'm excited for you because this is a new way of looking at your church, because we are called to be laborers in God's field and to harvest for His kingdom. It's a process, and we're all a part of that process. And you have been a part of that process for your church. Now, as you go forth, trust God's wisdom, trust God's guidance. It's His farm, and it's all for His glory. Amen? Amen.